It's me, Albert. I'm here again with another dramatic reading of Sharcano, the book with the sharks in the volcano. Totally upstages Sharknado. Snow sharks, ancient snow beast cannot touch this. This is the ultimate in schlocky shark fiction. And I'm going to read Chapter 4. Prepare yourself. Father Cox! He heard the chubby secretary yell, causing him to throw his Bill Cosby-style sweater on and run out of his room. He found the thick plug of a woman standing in the hallway, trembling. You gotta be mean about her weight. I mean, we brought this up several times in this book that she's fat. And that she eats rice cakes because she's fat and she feels bad about it. Like, do we have to beat on her every single time that she shows up? Like, hey, she's still fat. Like, leave the lady alone. She's not even real and I feel bad for her. What is it? He asked. Tears began to flood her eyes, rolling down her beet red cheeks. Her plump, unpainted lips shivered as she struggled to hold back the turbulent emotions rampaging through her. Speak up, my dear. What is it? He prodded again, stepping forward and rubbing her shoulder, hoping it would ease her distress. He's... She parted her lips and tried to get the words out, but couldn't. Her brain had been detached from her mouth by the crushing weight of grief. Just like... just detached it. Or maybe I don't know. It sounds like a bad medical condition, honestly. I'm not sure it's grief. You may want to speak to a neurologist. If you feel like your brain has been detached from your mouth. Sometimes I feel like that, though. So maybe it's not that weird. Sometimes my mouth just says stuff, and my brain's like, whoa! Did we just say that? So maybe it's not so bad. Stop doing that, mouth. Calm down now. It's okay. He soothed, patting her back and handing her the handkerchief he always kept in his pocket. It was one of the things his sainted mother taught him, so he always kept one with him in her honor. Take a deep breath and tell me what's wrong, okay? Father Mackenzie! She got out through her sobbing and hitching breath. What about him? He's... She gulped and wiped her eyes, hyperventilating. Why would she hyperventilate? Feels good to hyperventilate. I'm gonna get all hyperventilated now. Your watch oxygen all rushes to your brain. Woo! It's like getting high, but they can't arrest you for it. You get all giddy and stuff. Woo! You know they used to call pure oxygen king's air because kings would get it and breathe pure oxygen because it would overload the oxygen levels in their brain and they'd get high off of that? True story. Try it sometime. Do some oxygen. Be one of the cool kids. Alright, where are we at? Is he okay? What happened to Father Mackenzie? She couldn't finish and barely managed to point down the hallway toward Mackenzie's room. This was enough prompting for Father Cox, who left the weeping woman behind and went down the hallway. His brow scrunched up as he moved, expecting the worst. His brow was expecting the worst. His fingers and his left cheekbone were expecting ice cream. But his brow, that was expecting the worst. He's kind of a divided man. Father Mackenzie? He approached the door and found himself hesitating, not sure he wanted to throw that slice of wood open and find out what all the fuss was about. A slice of wood? It's a door. We don't need a fancy word for it. It's just, everybody has them hanging in the doorways of their houses. And also, yeah. Everybody knows what a door is. Why do we need a fancy metaphorical, slice of wood? Then there was that creeping feeling. The way his hair rose up on the backs of his arms and his neck. That was the electric charge when death was in the air. His job had made him familiar with that current of cold energy. I'm not buying it. I don't think that's a real thing. I don't think you die and you turn into electrical impulses. That'd be cool, though. Start zapping people. You walk around like an electric ghost. Bzz, bzz. That's what happens when you get with static electricity. The ghosts are out. It's nothing to do with the fact that you're creating friction by walking. Ghosts are just screwing with you. That's my theory. Father Mackenzie? He knocked and managed to push the door open to find that his expectations were met. From the exposed rafters hung Father Mackenzie by the neck, blue in the face, tongue lolling out to the side. Father! Above him, scrawled in heavy black marker over the taped Bible passages on the wall, was the phrase, "Abandon all hope." Wait a minute. We read the chapter where he committed suicide, and he wrote the beginning of the end on the wall. He also apparently wrote "Abandon all hope" and taped up a bunch of Bible pages. This guy's got the ultimate troll idea. This is the ultimate last word. You know you're gonna die. Hopefully you're not gonna commit suicide, but somehow you know you're gonna die, and right before you do, you turn your house into just this crazy place and scrawl warnings all over the walls, and then you're dead. And people come in, they're like, "Oh, he must have known something." But you're just screwing with him because you're a troll dead guy. This is what Father Mackenzie is. He's a troll dead guy. He even knew he couldn't stop the apocalypse. Why would he write this stuff? Why not just paint his walls a nice beige and move on? Well, I'm going to die. I'm not going to try to fight it, but I'm going to screw with your mind and tell you that you're also screwed. Leave some instructions. See, hey, you should probably hang yourself too. It's going to be bad. Lava sharks. He sprang into the room, righted the chair, and climbed onto it to reach Mackenzie's noose. Cox had some trouble with the dead weight, but managed to slip the priest's bruise-colored head out of the rope's grasp. He climbed off the chair and took Mackenzie's weight as he carried him over to the cot and laid him down as slowly as possible. Then the priest pressed his head to Mackenzie's chest and hoped to feel it rise with breath while he listened for a heartbeat. Neither happened. Cox pressed his hand to the bruised red throat and felt no pulse. The bruising around the face and the extremities told him all he needed to know, but he wanted to make sure. He backed up to the doorway and dropped down to the floor, catching his breath more from the sight of death than the exertion. "Why, Father? Why?" he asked the dead man. He's dead. Not going to answer you. Maybe you left a message on the wall about it. The one we overlooked. There's the Abandon All Hope one, and then there's the beginning of the end one, and then there's oh, by the way, here's how you're going to deal with this shark apocalypse, right? Get a blowtorch and a fire extinguisher. Step 1. I don't know, I'm just saying. Let's look at the walls some more. He heard a creak in the hallway and turned to see the chubby secretary approaching. She's still chubby. I was worried that she might have lost all that weight in the 2 pages that we've read since the beginning of the chapter, but no. Let not your hearts be troubled. She's still fat. "I came to tell him that dinner was ready and I found him," she said amidst sobbing and wheezing. "It's okay," Cox said, trying to get himself back in control. He took a deep breath and stood, shaking the shock out of his system to be dealt with later. He knew he had to get her out of there, get her distracted, or she'd fall to pieces. She was someone who needed direction, and Cox was good at being in charge. Sometimes he felt as if he'd missed his real calling. There were times when he wondered if he would have gone better as a film director, or maybe an army general. Those are 2 kind of weirdly specific things. It's those are your options. You're a leader. You can either be a film director or an army general. That's it. That's all you get. Those 2. No, you can't be a CEO. Alright? Film director or army general. Pick one. Or go into the priesthood if you're a wiener and you don't want to have to deal with that stress. And also electric ghosts. Listen to me. This is very important, okay? Okay, she said, catching her breath. Focus on me, my dear. Okay, Father, she said, looking at him and instantly losing that blubbery edge. Go downstairs. Call 911. Then alert the other pastors. When you've done all that, don't come back up here. Go outside and wait for them, okay? Yes, okay. You understand all that. You must do exactly what I say, okay? Go. She's fat. She's not stupid. Come on. He spun her around like a child and sent her on her way, down the stairs to her desk where she would go, no doubt perform her tasks admirably. She had worked here for 15 years, and he knew he could count on her. He went into the room again, steadied himself, and stepped back into the middle, careful not to stand right under the slowly swaying noose above his head. He looked at the walls for the first time, and his eyes narrowed with curiosity. He approached the Bible passages and maps and printouts and timetables and charts. And lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Holy crap, that's a sentence. His hands ran along the breadth of the bizarre, occult material as his eyes tried to take all of it in and process it as best possible. What in God's name were you doing, Mackenzie? He asked to the ghost of the man that he felt floated next to him in the quiet, cold room. He watched as a mysterious breeze blew through the stuffy, unventilated room and ruffled the pages of the duct-tape notebooks on the desk. I told you he was a troll ghost! He's in there! He's like, I'm bailing on this whole Sharcano apocalypse thing, but I'm gonna totally make you think that you can beat it, even though I know you can't. So I'm gonna, send you on this wild goose chase with these weird notebooks that I set up ahead of time. Telling you, man. Father Mackenzie. He's a troll. And a ghost. At the same time. Cox reached down and rifled through the pages, examining the intricate, wild handwriting. He knew this was important. Whatever had whispered that mysterious breeze had also whispered that fact into his ears, where the little hairs stood on end. Yeah, see? Troll ghost. Still going with that. An hour or so later, when the room was swarming with police and various other individuals whose jobs Father Cox didn't know, all was still in place, except for the duct-tape notebooks that were mysteriously missing and would not ultimately be missed at all. So that was chapter 4. I like to call it the Troll Ghost Father Mackenzie chapter. I'd like for him to stick around, him and the little girl, he's the ghost and he's hanging out, just poking people every once in a while, hey, go look at that. It may not even have anything to do with anything. He sends them on red herring chases and he's just hanging out in the afterlife. So yeah, Sharcano, chapter 4. You want to read the book for yourself, and you want to read this book for yourself. I've got a link down in the description here. You can click on it, get the book from Amazon. It's $5 for the Kindle edition. It's super cheap. Check it out. It's amazing. I love it so much. Next week, or the week after, depending on how things go. Sorry I've been off for a couple weeks with this thing. There was a calamity, and also a distraction, and then I was lazy. So, next week!